Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Stranger Things 2, Episode 3, Chapter 3, The Pollywog. Full spoilers for the episode as always. That's a great title, The
Yeah.
Pollywog, I like it.
And finally you managed to nail the naming of the episode and show.
It's okay. Do you know what it is? It's because you've got number of the season, right, which doesn't have season in front of it, which is already irregular compared to most shows. And then I've got episode number and then chapter number, which are the same number.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of extraneous. I could probably just skip the episode number, to be honest, but whatever, we're here now. So, we have this little beast from the Upside Down that Dustin found last episode, and that's what he's got. Some funny stuff with him, his mother, he's hiding it, and he's looking after it, and he names it Dart, which is short for something else, but he calls it Dart. And a lot of the episode from the kid's point of view is like him bringing this to school and he's showing it off to the others. It's like, hey, AV club at noon, lunchtime, come,
Yeah.
you're coming to. And I like how he turns around to Max, even though she's like way up the back of the class as well. He's like, you come as well, yeah, AV club, all excited, all
Yeah, and the
excited.
teacher's like, really? Come on.
Yeah. So that's their plot. We get a lot more of 11, more of our flashbacks with Hopper and all that stuff. Again, it feels like we've kind of got the rest of them now, though. I feel like that's probably the last of them this episode. Just
Yeah, these were the context ones to show,
yeah,
they were relevant to what she was doing. I don't think there's any more that needs to be done.
yeah. Come on, because the last half was like building up to like what she was doing before he found her, and then this was like when he found her till
Yeah.
not necessarily present day, but I feel like there's probably not as much to tell now. That they set up the house and they set up the cabin and everything's. We
Yeah.
see him teaching her the Morse code and the radio and everything else. So
The tripwire and yeah.
yeah, so it seems all pretty set up. Not to say that I'm complaining about it because it was actually some really sweet scenes. Hopper dancing, for example, to some music is possibly the happiest I've ever seen him be, and that was interesting.
Yeah, he does usually look pretty grumpy though, doesn't he?
He's a grumpy man. That's kind of his thing. But no, so that was good fun. So you had that, but obviously when they're mapping out where all this all the dead crops and stuff are, all this poison's happening, and he's like, right, that's a circle. There's a smaller circle, like it's expanding from a center area. He's like, wait a minute, I know what that is in the middle, and it turns out it's the lab. And he goes to Paul Reiser, and he's like, hey, what are you doing?
Something I thought was interesting about the map itself and the circles,
Mm.
they were moving in a direction. Yeah, the circles were getting bigger, but it wasn't that the lab was at the center of all of it. It wasn't, whatever it is coming, it wasn't coming straight from the lab. It was something, it would seem like it was moving.
Right, so you think it was like starting at the center, but then as it's getting bigger, the center's
Yeah, because you
moving.
have a small
Yeah.
center, you have a small circle around the lab, but then the next circle that's a bit bigger, it's not the lab's not in the middle of that. It's off to that's in like the corner.
Oh, you may be right. Maybe right. Part of me
As much
thinks it
as you can have a corner in the circle.
may just be Hopper's Hopper's terrible drawing,
It
but
could be. It could be.
yeah, no, I can see that. I can see that being a thing, especially if it's representing the force of this big bastard that we keep seeing in the
Yeah.
visions. Like it is that. Which, by the way, I love that they referred to it as true sight. Which, I mean, I'm not a big D&D. I've not really played D&D much, but like I know what true sight is. True sight is
Yeah.
when if there's an illusion or something, you can still see through it. Like you won't be fooled by it. So the idea that Will has true sight, he can see into the upside down. Obviously, he can't control it yet. He's just kind of flickering in and out of it at inopportune moments. But I like that. I like that we're still using D&D terminology to explain all this stuff.
Yeah, it was a big part of the first season.
Yeah, and Max trying to understand it. So yeah, you had 11. You had her basically rebelling. She's not happy because he keeps saying soon you can go out, and that was actually the surprising thing for me is that Hopper knows that she's dying to see Mike, but also knows that she's going to him in his head. That she's doing the psychic thing. He knows all
Yeah.
this. He's actually well aware of it all. I wasn't sure. I thought she might be doing that like sort of in secret behind his back. Not in a bad way. Just that she's a kid doing something she's not supposed to be
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
way.
But no, he's
Yeah.
pretty open.
Yeah, no, he knows that in his promising like eventually you'll see him, but right now it's not going to happen. And we know we know he's right. We know his heart's in the right place. We know all his concerns are all real.
Yeah, he's genuine. He's saying, yeah, look, when it's safe, but it's one of those, yeah, but it's never going to be safe.
Yeah. So she gets pissed and she ends up going. She ends up going out. And I'd forgotten actually when we were talking about the guy thinking there's like Russians coming and stuff. I'd forgotten that her cover in season 1 to explain her lack of English was that she was Russian. That's why she talked funny. And I was like, oh, this is all starting to click together now. Okay, I'm getting it. So she ends up leaving. And I liked how it intercut with like him telling her the rules, and she was breaking each one as it was going.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. The first one was the blinds, or maybe that was the second one. But either way, and we saw her break that last episode because that's when she lifts it up and she sees the squirrel.
That's
so
true.
She was already pushing these rules before this moment.
It wasn't all the way up though. It was just kind of like
no, but she was already kind of pushing it already.
The point I'm getting is it's escalation. It's like, I'll peek out, but now it's like no full. Although what I don't get is why is she opening the full blast if she's going out anyway?
Just because she wants to break the rules.
Okay,
that's it, isn't
enough.
it? It's like she wants to send a message, be like, no, look, you've kept me in here.
All right. Also, I like that the tripwires were basically made with bullets and mouse traps.
As you do.
That's pretty funny.
It was.
And she goes wandering. She finds the school. She has a really sweet moment. She recognizes Mike's bike, and she's like going down the labyrinth of hallways, and she can sense him around. And here we get to the thing where you were kind of worried about last episode, although I don't necessarily think it's exactly what you were worried about. It's a trope, don't get me wrong.
It's the reversal of what I was worried about, but because I hadn't considered this. As soon as it started and I was like, I know where this is going, I was like, ugh.
See,
it's not that bad,
yeah,
but I was still like, ugh.
Yeah, I'm not that fussed because, I mean, sure, Eleven thinks that Mike's into Max and that's upset her. So much so that she decks the ginge off the skateboard. And... yeah, okay, right, it's a bit of a trope, I admit, right? But it's not like, I mean, because for a second you might be thinking, oh, mate, is Mike actually starting to have feelings? But the thing is, as soon as he thinks that Eleven might have caused that, he bolts. He's like, she's here, and he's like bolting. So I'm not worried about an actual triangle in that sense.
No, me either. It's more than I can be bothered with. It was a nice enough moment, her looking through the window, the door. It was really nice, don't get me wrong. I just don't want any more of it.
See, yeah, I don't think so. I think what that does right now, for plot purposes, is that it stops them reuniting right now, because we can have a bigger reunion later.
Yeah, no, I get it. It just irritates me a little.
I think what will happen is once they reunite, she'll give him the cold shoulder. He won't know why for a little bit, and it'll come out naturally one way or the other. I don't think we're going to have her constantly like come in and like see things and be like, oh no.
No, but just the idea of her when it gets to her with the group, her being really standoffish with Max over this. I'm not really looking forward to that.
It depends how long the
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I hope it's not too much of it.
Because to be fair, I think there's some stuff in this episode that they address quicker that we were talking about last episode that kind of...
No, it's true.
So, I think that's fine. Because certainly I think this one was definitely the kickstart of the plot, actually. There was a lot of things going on here. Obviously, you've got the Pollywog. You've got little Dart, who, of course, everyone else is trying to kill because they think he's from the Upside Down. Dustin's not happy about it, though. And he gets to listen to school. He grows some extra legs so he can move around a lot quicker. And they end up having to chase him around the school, and they're all in different wings of the hall.
I love that when he runs off, Dustin yells and is like, "Don't you hurt him!"
My favourite part of that actually is the music as it escapes out the AV lab. Which, by the way, of course, Max knows how to lockpick. Of course she does.
I know. I was just waiting for it the whole time. Yeah. I was like, she's getting in there.
So as it escapes and it runs away, the music that's playing is very Gremlins. I don't know if you've seen Gremlins.
I haven't, but I'm familiar with the score.
Yeah, it's got a very Gremlins sound to it, and that was cracking me up because it was like, a little menace is running around and they have to catch it. Like it was, I was getting the vibes. So that was pretty cool. And yeah, so we mentioned obviously the scene where, and I like that just before like 11 sees Mike and Max in the gym, they it brings up 11. He's like, hey, we already had, like, 11 was the mage, and she's like, who's 11? Oh, she moved away, and he's getting really thing. But again, I like that he compared all of the roles to like
it's the D&D things from before. Yeah.
And then she's like, I could be the Zoom. That's not a thing. There's no Zoom.
It's like, well, I'm not making a thing. Look, he goes on the skateboard. See, it's a thing.
It's not my fault they didn't have skateboards in D&D. So that's good. Oh, and obviously Will around here is freaking out because Will has a scene with Bob. Bob, who I could tell was screwing up with his advice as he was saying it, because of course Bob's advice was for a nightmare that he had when he was a kid.
Yeah, it's good advice for what he thinks it is. To be
Yeah,
fair to Bob.
but of course this what's happening to Will is very much real, and because of that, at the end of the episode, when Will runs out into the outside and it's all upside down, he's in the other world. He's running away. This big thing, and he turns around. And sometimes we'll critique a show for like doing little flashbacks to the same episode, right? Here it worked very well because it used it to punctuate the like.
No, I agree because it wasn't just a here's a reminder and then
No,
thing happens, which is what annoys me. This was the flow of the scene.
Yeah, it was like each party was saying, I used to do this, and then I turned round, and it shows him turning round, and then I looked right at him and I said, "Go away," and you see Will say, "Go away." It's like, he's like, "It's just like that." But as he clicks his fingers, this thing's like putting its like smoke all up Will's nose, which is the big cliffhanger of the episode,
And his eyes.
and his eyes. It's properly demonic looking. He's just getting every orifice he can.
It's kind of a great image.
It kind of is, and it makes me wonder: is it possessing Will? Next episode is Will like evil?
That was something I thought as well. I kind of want to call Will out a little bit on following the advice because at first he thinks it's just flashbacks as well. When Bob gives him that advice, he thinks it's the flashbacks and the PTSD, but they'd already had that conversation, with all the others where it's like, oh, it's true sight. Maybe this is real. Maybe I'm just seeing the reality of things. And he was just like, well, I'm going to face it anyway. He was aware that this might be real and still did that. It didn't seem like the best move to me.
That's true. To be fair, I think in that scene though, when they're all saying, "Oh, maybe he has true sight," like it wasn't really Will that was driving that. It was Mike that was saying that. It was
definitely, it was Mike that was driving it. Yeah. But so maybe I need to go back and check that scene out.
Maybe it's just a simple case of he wasn't the one who was believing that so much. He was like, maybe he wants it to be flashbacks because if it's real, then that's a bigger deal. That's like.
Yeah, it's less scary, I suppose, because you can deal with flashbacks.
Yeah, he wants to believe it's just a dream or a nightmare or whatever, so he can fight it. But of course, at this point, we've already had and I love how a big thing last season was how the lights were a thing and like communicating and through the upside down and stuff. I love that we have the videotape actually like lets Joyce like see something. Like we actually capture some of it, like. And she like draws the outline of this thing on the TV, and it turns out to be that big asshole.
As soon as she pauses it, I'm like, oh, I can see it. This is so amazing. I love it.
Yeah, I love it. It's one of those things we talked a lot about it a lot when we were doing the first season of Channel Zero about how old technology, analog with static and stuff, you can hide things in signals in a way that you can't do with modern digital
you can
stuff.
Really play with it, and you just can't anymore.
So I love that. I love that she like just traces the lines off the TV and she compares it to the drawing that we already saw last episode, and it's like, oh crap, something about this is real. It's not just flashbacks or whatever. It's something about it's real. So I like that because she was a big thing in the last season as well. Like her looking and the bit with the lights that everyone likes to do. I'm sure everyone's seen the cosplay photos of the people having the boards back behind them with all the letters on them, and they're holding a phone.
Yep.
Good fun. Yep. Yeah, but so no, it was a good cliffhanger. It was nice, big and dark because we've got the stuff with the Pollywog as well, which by the way Dustin hides in his hat so the others don't kill it.
He's such a knob.
Yeah, he's being a fool, but at the same time it is rather it's like adorable goofy though.
It is until it grows extra legs.
Oh sure, yeah, it's going to be huge.
Like when they were like, it looks like there's something moving inside it. I thought it was going to do like alien chest burst style thing.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
And then these extra legs pops out. I'm like, and now it's not cute. Now it's terrifying.
Yeah, no, it's huge. Yeah. Honestly, I never thought it was cute anyway. Like, see at the start of the episode when Dustin's like, "Oh, you're cute," I'm like, "Well, it's not."
No, I didn't think so. But I can kind of see where they're coming from. It's soft, small. I get it.
Yeah.
I mean,
kill it with fire.
Yeah, but you just don't like reptilian things, do you?
Reptiles are okay. It's just snakes I don't like.
Snakes are reptiles.
I know, but I'm not saying I hate. I don't just dislike reptiles. I just specifically dislike snakes.
What about lizards? You're fine with lizards?
Yeah, I mean, I've never really met one in the flesh, but they don't bother me in theory.
They don't bother me in theory.
Not really seen a snake in the flesh either, to be honest. So,
have you never been to a zoo or?
I was when I was like 5, but I don't really remember it.
Did they never do one of those things in your school where, like someone comes around with the little, like the petting zoo stuff, and they have like snakes and lizards and stuff?
I don't remember.
Huh.
If they did, it was
Okay.
when I was really young, and I just don't remember it. But anyway, we're getting off topic here.
Yeah, yeah.
Come on now. Um, so, so big ending. Joyce finding the stuff, all cool, all big and stuff. Hopper also finds out that maybe Eleven has flew the coop, as one might say, and he goes off in search of her. Meanwhile, in other places, so Maxie's big brother claims that it's not actually she's not his sister. Says don't call her that. It's not my sister.
Yeah, which is interesting. The way, like, so we got the whole thing where they were kind of blaming each other, saying it's your fault we're together. Maybe are
Stepbrother,
they?
sister.
It could be. Maybe they're also, some sort of escaped experiments of some sort.
All right.
I don't know. Maybe that's a bit of a jump, but
It's a bit of a job. I would maybe think step brother sister. So they don't really like each other. Don't see each other as brother and sister.
probably that.
Maybe.
That was my first thought, but then I thought this is Stranger Things, so I'm just going to go out there in
It'll be
case.
something stranger. Yes, very good.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Also, we see him in a basketball scene with Steve, literally trying to outdouche him.
Yeah.
Tell him
Glorious.
you used to be the school's douche. Now I'm the school's douche. Capiche?
Kind of love this scene.
Actually, my favourite thing though is Nancy comes to talk to him. I was like, "Hey, where were you this morning?" And as Steve is recounting the drunken speech, he basically just goes, "Yeah," and then he said, "Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit."
That was I remember when we spoke about this episode yesterday. That was the main thing of that scene. It's just like it was just a lot of bullshit over and over and over again.
Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit.
That's pretty much what Steve says.
And then Steve basically just recounts what we said. It was bullshit.
Yeah, it was just a lot of bullshit.
But then she can't say she loves him, even though she's sober. And I say that exactly as Connor's downing some booze, amusingly. But I
I
thought
wouldn't say downing. That was a bit harsh.
oh well, you know what? Whatever.
You're making me sound far worse than I am.
I say she's sober, and as I say that, you're just knocking back.
Yeah,
It's a
not
lot
a great
funny.
image.
So obviously she goes to speak to Jonathan, and Jonathan, you know what? He's too nice a guy. He's sticking up for Steve. He's like, oh, he asked me to take you home, and we know he didn't. We know he stormed out of there like a dickhead. But he's like, no, he asked me to, and he tries to be nice. And then she's like, oh, you're Bob, that guy your mum's banging. He works at Radio Shack, right? And I'm not sure what did they buy a phone? Is that what it was? Did they just buy a phone for a room? Was it
Yeah, I
that
think
simple?
so.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering what it was, and then she has the phone. I'm like, yeah, but seems anticlimactic.
I feel like she might have already had a phone, and if they'd shown her taking it out the bag, I'd be like, okay, it's just a phone. Because what I thought she
Right.
was going to do is I thought she was going to tell Barb, because she phones Barb's mom. I thought she was going to tell her stuff, but I thought she was going to she bought a voice changer or something.
I did as well.
I was like,
I
so it was
was, I,
anonymous.
I was waiting for the exact same moment.
It's like, what's your favourite scary movie? Not that she would make that reference, it's the 80s, but I'm just putting an
Yes,
example
yes,
of a
yes.
voice changer.
But then she's just like, hey, it's me, Nancy.
Which is a bad idea because we cut to the man sitting in the surveillance rooms just listening to her.
But she knows. She's kind of got a feeling because she's like, look, it's not safe to talk on the phone.
She does, although she's stupid enough to tell her over the phone where they're going to meet, which tells surveillance people where they can
Well,
survey her.
Yeah, it's not great.
Unless she's got a backup plan. Maybe what she bought at Radio Shack is actually going to help with this in some way that we've just not predicted yet. I will say, I'm really happy that her and Jonathan are back up to tricks, because them planning for stuff last season and getting the guns and the weapons and arming
that was
up
really
to...
good.
Yeah, that was all really cool stuff, so I'm glad they're back on this. No Terminator references in this episode. I was paying attention, but I'm sure there'll be more.
Me too.
Stuff.
There's got to be more. There's always more.
There's always more. Oh dear. Elsewhere, was there anything else that I am glossing over? There was something with Bob telling Joyce that he thinks he's breaking through to Will, and I'm like, yeah, you broke through to him. It's going to get him killed. Congratulations, Bob.
Do you know what? I said Bob was a dick. He's kind of a harmless dick. In this case, he wasn't so harmless, but he was, well intentioned.
Well, that whole thing with the scene though, it's like you can tell it's all going downhill because he's like, hey, I used to get bullied in school, but now I'm dating Joyce. Hey, things work out for the best, and she's like, you're putting it in perspective for me. And she's just like kind of miffed with herself. And I'm like, you know what? You know, Bob, my old chum. Like, you know, I'm a nerd. I'm a pretty nerdy guy. Like, you know, I'm not exactly the hot shot in high school or whatever. And yet, I'm wanting you to get hit by a bus right now. Like, you're doing something wrong, Bob.
I'll tell you what, though. The moment I did find him really relatable.
Uh-huh.
When Joyce phones him and goes, you know, how do I get this tape in? Well, it's not working. And then he's just like, I've got to explain this to her.
Yeah, see that shot where she like pops up the
yeah.
I never had a top loader VCR. I always had
the
push
in
one.
The front. Yeah.
This was more of an 80s thing, I think, and we were obviously a bit later than that. You know, I mean, I was born in '89, but like, you know, I missed it. Yeah. So you know. So first of all, it's just cool. It looks more retro having the top loader, but it pops up and she's just got this little mini like half-size tape, and she's like trying to pop it in. It's just not working. And you know what? I can't fault her that much because that's how it works with mini CDs. Like if you get one that's like half-size, you still put it in the same thing.
It in the middle. Yeah,
it's fine. But I'm like, no, this isn't going to work, Joyce. I almost wanted to try and press something just so it would like garble and be like, Wah.
Yeah, it'd be funny. But just, you know, the moment where she phones him and he just immediately is like, oh, you do all this, and she's like, slow down. Hey. My girlfriend just looked over at me. She's like, see, that's what it's like.
Hey, if he thinks it's bad in '84, just come to 2017 where we've got the computers and the internet. This is nothing. A couple of cables in the VCR camera, nothing. Absolutely nothing.
You say that, but my mum still can't even manage that.
What, hooking up a VCR?
I mean, not a VCR. I mean, a DVD player, for example.
Well, it's the same
I mean, I'll update it to not quite, you know, all the way to Blu-ray, but you know, I'll update it a touch.
Do you know what? I try not to apply stereotypes to people, but there is one particular stereotype I have for one very particular type of people.
Go on.
Teachers cannot work televisions or VCRs. They just can't. You know, how many teachers did I have over the course of however many years of school I had? Dozens. Dozens.
Not one of them. I mean, when I was in school, they were just getting the interactive whiteboards and stuff. And it's like, well, they weren't called that at the time.
Oh, well, then, okay.
No, they were just interactive whiteboards at the time. The smart thing, whatever, you know, like smartphone, that wasn't really a thing yet as a term. And
Wait, I'm older than you though. We had smart boards.
Oh, ours weren't called smart boards then.
Yeah, it was just the brand was. I mean, they weren't. I don't think they were called smartboard and like as in like a smartphone.
I imagine now they're just called smartboards.
Yeah. No, but the brand was smartboard.
Ah, right, okay. No, ours weren't. But none of them could use them.
Our math teacher was like because he didn't have it at first, and then like halfway through one of the years he got a smartboard, and it was like the new toy. He was like, "Oh, let's do more lessons because I want to use my smartboard."
My IT teacher struggled with it.
You sure he's qualified to be teaching IT? If you
Probably not. I don't. I have no official qualifications in IT whatsoever.
Yeah. I never took IT. I mean, I had a little bit of it early on because you get a sample of everything.
Oh, mine was compulsory throughout.
Anyway, where were we? We were talking about Stranger Things. Oh yeah, I love that Hopper tries to cheer up Eleven by making a breakfast that is like the most unhealthy thing in the history of breakfasts.
Yeah, when he goes, hey, this is like 8,000 calories. I'm going, do you know what? It probably is.
I mean, he poured chocolates over 3-stack waffles.
No, it wasn't just over them. There was chocolates in between the layers.
And there was cream in between the layers, I think.
Yeah.
Or just really thick butter. I can get behind some of it, but I don't know. I just like.
I don't think I could get through a mouthful of that. Like, way too sickly for me. I
could do a mouthful, but that's your like 500 calories for the one thing, and that's you done. Like, right? That's me.
Oh, that's fine. I don't give a shit about calories.
All right.
I just don't really have a sweet tooth.
Yeah, that's fair. I do have a sweet tooth, unfortunately.
It's your problem.
I saw one, like, you know, I'm not diabetic, but, you know, there's a few diabetic people in my family. I'm a little bit worried about it. I need to get rid of the sweet tooth. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
It's a concern.
I got lucky on that one. I'm just like, I don't really want chocolate that much.
No, Not, I mean, I don't really eat chocolate bars. Like, I don't really do that. It's more like cookies and muffins and donuts and stuff with chocolate on them rather than straight chocolate.
I like chocolate, chocolate bars with nuts in.
Yeah, chocolate with nuts is
Like,
okay.
like a Snickers. That's kind of like as much chocolate as I really eat.
Snickers is okay.
Snickers is pretty good.
I guess it's okay. Anyway, I guess we're done talking about Stranger Things since we're talking about it.
I think we both. I did really like this episode though, and
As did I.
the moment where she sees the thing on the TV, I was like, oh, this is so good. That was
Yeah,
maybe the moment of the episode for me.
yeah, yeah. I think it's clear, like that happening, the Pollywog 11 escape, and I was like, yeah, we had 2 episodes of just getting settled, and then like everything's starting in this one, and that's fine, that's cool.
Still starting slow though. Like it's nothing like obviously the moment with Will at the end is quite big, but it's still like
sure.
okay, that's just the moment. As an episode, so like, as the plot's going, it's not going that fast. It's like okay, here's the start of the plot.
This was more focused this episode though, and I think that's clear by the fact that we finished talking about the episode probably about 22 minutes in or something like that. I mean, we're a few minutes after because we've been tangenting, but like because the last two ran to about 40 minutes, and there was a little bit of tangenting, but it was mostly because there was all the characters were kind of separate. They were all doing separate things. There was so many little plots going throughout. Whereas this was a lot more like it was the kids in the Polywog. It was Eleven escaping in her flashbacks and doing her stuff. A little bit of Hopper with he makes Paul Reiser come out and test everything, and which by the way he was noticing the walkie-talkie chat with the Russian sighting.
Ah, he was. As soon as that was there, he was like, "Ooh, she's still around." And then he looks at Hopper and is like, "He knows."
Yeah.
So he's getting followed next episode.
I feel like Paul Reiser's end in this season is going to be very similar to his end in Aliens.
Probably.
I feel like it. So, anyway, that has been episode 3 of Stranger Things Season 2. Let us know what you thought of it in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on Twitter at mild_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/mildfuzztv. You can do that over there. Otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching. Keep watching TV. Have you got any vanilla?